Hey everybody, it's Nerdy30. I just wanted to say thank you for joining me for another video. Had a little bit of time this past Monday off, so I decided to stop by a flea market that I've had good luck in and decided to make a thrifting video. Last time I was at this flea market, I found a $15 PS3. I found 3D Dot Heroes and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 for the PS4 for $25. The two games alone are worth almost $100 and were ones I were looking for my collection period. So if you like thrifting or video games or anything along those lines, please consider giving my channel a subscribe and a follow to see more of my future content. This booth that I'm filming currently was where I found the PS3 last time I was here, so I thought I might have some luck again. And lo and behold, I found these two iPads for $5 a piece. One was a 16 gig model and the other is a 64 gig model. I believe they are 4th generation iPads, and from the rough research I did, I should be able to get $40 or so to $50 if they work. I have a charging cable coming in the mail because I don't have an old school Apple 30 pin connector. So that was a good way to start the hunt. Now, as you notice, as I'm walking down the flea market booths, I usually do one side at a time. I'll go down to the end and I'll do the left side, and then when I come back, I'll do the right side. This booth had some games that caught my attention, but there was nothing really special here. And as always, I always check Wii Fits because sometimes I have found Wii Sports get stuck in Wii Fits because a lot of casual Wii users consider the games to be pretty close to the same thing. So anytime I see a Wii Fit, I always check it. I don't know much about the sports games. If I missed something that was a gem or a movie that might have been something that was a profitable flip and I missed it, let me know. I'm sure the stuff is still there. These fake PS3 controllers have been here for a long time. I last saw them at my last trip, which was 6 weeks ago, and they were here at my previous visit 6 months prior. So one thing that I constantly advocate for is always checking DVDs and always checking CDs. I have a short posted to my channel where I found PS1 games in the CD section at Goodwill a few days ago at the beginning of 2026. So anytime I see them in a booth, I will check them because you never know what people have. I like flea markets like this one because you can see it's a good mixture of some handcrafted stuff, some old junk, things that people found at, grandma's estate sale, period. Things like this are getting harder to find because a lot of flea markets in my area are turning more into like fashion boutiques or like upscale thrifty vintage shops. And this is a rare gem to still have in my area. Unfortunately, this case was locked and I was not able to see the Sony Handycam. I checked with the front desk lady at the end of the video, and she did not have a key for this booth. So unfortunately, we were not able to see how much the camera was, but with the box, it probably worked because somebody who keeps the original packaging tends to take care of the item. I've been looking for a stereo for my game room because I have a Sony audio rack and I'm wanting to fill it up with Sony stereos. So anytime I see radios, I get excited to check them because I'm hoping one day to find the right fit. You have to ignore this part right here. That stupid cart got caught on everything as I was trying to push it out. Now, the video is not full of the The entire tour of the place I only recorded when I thought I was going to find something of interest. There's nothing more frustrating than watching an hour video and it's just junk. And once again, I'm not saying this stuff is junk. I don't know books. I don't know antiques. I know games. I'm trying to get into movies a little bit. And if it's anything of interest of mine, that's what I tend to gravitate towards when I am thrifting or hunting flea markets. Upon exiting this booth area, I saw this case, decided to check it out. Unfortunately, it was empty, but I have learned that whenever you see a case like this, to go ahead and check it because there's a 50-50 chance there's something in it. And I typically have more luck finding interesting items in cases than I do finding empty cases, like I did with that case there. I was excited in this clip because I found one of my favorite movies. I have been going hard collecting for VHS in the last few months after I acquired a HD Samsung Slimline CRT television and a Sony HD VHS DVD combo player that upscales VHS to 720p, period. Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies, and to find it on VHS is exciting for me. Now, I apologize about that. It was hard to get back in the case, but for $4, I had to add it to my collection. Now, I did learn after the fact that there is actually a different variant cover for Back to the Future that's worth like $30 or $40. This is not that variant, but it's good to know for the future. One tip that I always like to give is whenever you see red box cases, go ahead and check them, period. A lot of people don't remember, but Redbox actually used to rent games. And so checking the cases may lead to a game. This rack is a staple every time I come here. As you see, there's games on it. Every time I come to this place, there's games on the rack. Not necessarily good games this time, but I have actually found several games, and they're usually $3 to $4 a piece. Once again, if you see anything in here that I missed or overlooked that is a good movie or might be worth a flip, let me know. I just noticed reviewing the footage that there was that Stranger Than Fiction, that very interesting Will Ferrell movie that was actually a good movie, but not quite in line with what Will Ferrell is traditionally known for as an actor. I went through this entire rack as I usually do, but I did not find anything that I needed today. when I was walking back towards the front of the flea market, I saw this little stack of games up here, period. These games have been here for a while, and while $5 a game might not be terrible, because I think a few of these games that I price charted were worth $9 or $10, I really wasn't interested in anything, and I already have a copy of The Outer World, so I left these games. For some reason, the footage decided to rotate sideways on a few clips, and I am sorry for that. I always check toy bundles because you never know what you're gonna find. This booth has these bundles for $2.50 a piece. And as I said, I've found some interesting things from time to time. The biggest advice I can give to anybody who's looking to get into flea market hunting or thrifting is it's about patience and consistency. It's very easy to look at social media and get discouraged by all the wins that people post, but you have to remember, for every win that somebody posts on YouTube, there's 100 losses or duds where they did not find anything. Those that are finding good stuff are constantly grinding to do so. So this is going to be the final booth that I got any footage from before I headed to the front of the flea market and checked out. This stack of games right here is where I found the copy of 3D Dot Heroes for the PlayStation 3 for $5 last time I was here before Christmas. I saw the blue Wii U case, and that's what drew me over here. And unfortunately, I already have Scribblenauts because it's low-hanging fruit. I wound up not getting any of these games, and most of them were priced pretty good under price charting, minus the Double Dragon. And the only thing that I didn't get footage of was behind the Sony Handycam display. I actually found an original Xbox controller for $10. Robotech's a neat game, but I already have it for the PlayStation and the Xbox. Well, that's about it for this video. I added the 2 iPads, the Back to the Future VHS, and the Xbox controller. Not a great trip, but still a profitable trip if those iPads work, which I'll post an update on later once my charger comes in this week. If you like this kind of content, please consider giving me a subscribe. I'm Nerdy30, and I'm signing out.